welcome back to Panda Reacts. I'm Sandra, and this is Ken.
Hi.
And we've got Ham. He's back with us, and we are watching Outlander season 7. And we are watching Outlander season 7, episode 4. That's right, because tomorrow we'll be watching episode 5.
Oh boy.
So I was away for the week, which meant we couldn't film. So I'm trying to rip out back-to-back Outlanders so that you're not like totally disappointed. However, it let me read quite a lot, so I'm really ahead in the reading. So I've seen some promos for the one we're going to be watching, so it kind of gave some stuff away, but I won't give it away. I know it's going to kind of go down. All right, so Ann Fox 926 wrote that Bobby Higgins and Amy McCallan moved into Bree and Roger's cabin after they married. Yes, which I knew from the book. So Claire and Jamie bunked with them. There were 3 boys. The dying old lady and some relatives were still there for the wedding. Adso lived at the big house but went out every day to hunt. Claire had arranged with Lizzie to put out milk for him and keep him in her house in the winter. Rollo is traveling with them and goes on the ship. Much more to develop. Yes, exactly.
Whoa.
So, I knew that Rollo traveled with them in the book. I knew that Adso was taken care of in the book. And I was just missing that confirmation in the actual show. Because when we saw them leave, I didn't see Rollo with them. And Adso was kind of just re-released into the wild. But I do know from the book that he's totally fine. So, anyway, thank you for your comment. So last week, we had Mrs. Bug dying, Ian on a guilt trip, Mr. Bug threatening Ian, Mr. Bug disappearing, the gold being melted into little balls. Musket balls, one of which did appear inside the box that Jemmy got in the future. Well, that was for Jemmy in the future. There was a little musket ball, and Roger picked it up or something. They were like, what's this doing, a musket ball? And they put it to the side. That's gold there, my friends. And they were told about the Spanish cave through the letters. So we got to see that Claire and Jamie are communicating into the future, basically, by sending letters and putting them in a box, which eventually, 200 years later, got to Roger and Bree, who also bought Lollybrock. Well, we assume they did because at the end it was for sale.
Yeah. And
that's kind of where we're at. I'm not recalling if there was anything else. I don't think William was in this episode or John Gray, right?
No.
That was the episode prior.
Prior one, yeah.
Yeah. So we should be seeing more of them. And there's just so many side stories now. Like, everybody has their own story. So it's going to have to jump around quite a lot. So we'll have to see what's going on. So they're heading to Scotland. It's different from in the book. In the book, he's going back to get his printing press. And this one, he's just going back to honor his promise to Jenny that he'd bring back Ian, at least for a visit. How will that go?
Well, bound to be a bit of a shock.
I don't know. Yes.
Yeah, he's dressed a little strangely.
And who else is out there from the future? Do we know? Have we met everybody so far? How many people are going back and forth?
Yeah.
That's the question. So,
at least one of them got exploded in the house.
Well, yeah, and Ottertooth is dead. There was like that group of friends all screwed up.
They're all exploded.
I think they're all dead. But I don't know yet because I haven't seen it. So, we're read that far. So, without further ado, let's do the next episode.
Living in a caravan.
You're back. How was it?
Found this at Oxfam. Bit of seasoning, it'll be right as rain. Wee taste of home.
It's perfect.
Ah! Mama! Auntie hit me with a stick. And she didn't say she was sorry.
Mandy, say you're sorry.
What?
Aye, you will.
Sorry.
Bree, this is...
We don't have it, do we?
Well,
We've bumped through nearly everything just to get this far.
You do have a musket ball.
Well-
You are in need.
We're halfway in. We have a working kitchen. We have flushing toilets. We're living the 20th century dream.
Where's Rollo? I still don't see Rollo. I'm sorry. What the heck?
Probably him making a noise.
Maybe. It's like, what the hell? Where's the dog? Oh, gross. Oh.
Damn fire shit! She's got the pox! Look at your neck! It's scarlet! You expect me to believe you didn't know? Or you tried to kill me and made me pay for the pleasure of it? For that whore! Fire shit! Fire shit! Fire shit! He's going to kill her. Don't.
It's not like Jemmy to lie.
So you think we've had some supernatural visitors too?
Well, they do say they have a fondness for precious metals, and I did find this. I was mindlessly rolling it around in my fingers, and
Mama and Dom must have put it in the box as a clue about the Jacobite gold.
do you think we should talk to Jemmy about it? See what he knows?
Oh, damn.
Ah, lame.
You don't mind me eating, do you, Miss?
It's 1980.
Yep.
Things aren't that great.
And 2 sugars, if you please. If you remember that, you'll do well here. A misunderstanding. It's the secretary we'll be needing.
Perhaps so, but I'm applying for the plant inspector position.
You're a woman.
And what aspects of plant inspection require a penis? Now, whether it's wear and tear or because the storms last week caused debris to be pulled into the turbine, I can't say without taking a look. But I promise you, once I do, I will be able to identify the problem and tell you how to fix it, promptly and economically.
Sorry. Ow, ow, ow. Oh my god, ow. No, get back here, horse. Oh.
I wouldn't take that out if I were you.
Ow.
So if you'd be so good as to sign here, Mr. Fraser, the next ship leaves in the morning.
Dude, I'm gonna
I will
stop.
join the fight, Mr. Harnett. But I cannot do so yet. Perhaps your business can wait.
What?
Rowan County has yet to meet its quota of men, which means we have the authority to compel its citizens to join us.
What?
The Continental Congress has spoken on the matter.
That's pretty normal in
You mean to
military
conscript
society.
me? I would be a fool not to, Mr. Fraser.
No.
You're a born leader. Of course, the law does allow for you to send someone in your stead. I saved your life.
Yeah.
This is the choice you give me. You saved my life so I could fight another day. Today is that day, Mr. Fraser. For you as well.
No, I'm done. No, bye. Hello. Suck it.
I love this land. I want to fight for it.
You're not that if it's wise.
The Indians, many will have already sided with the British Army. I've heard the Shawnee are divided as to which side they would choose in this war. I could offer my services, speak to Mr. Harnett.
You mean to ride all the way through Virginia?
Aye, if it will help.
Where's Rollo?
And if Mr. Harnett is willing.
What have I told you about putting your sister in the priest hole?
Sorry.
I have to work on my punishments.
Oh, Ian.
It's Ian.
And Rollo.
I mean you no harm, sir. Do you speak English?
I've met Englishmen who'd say no. But I think you'll understand me well enough.
You're Scottish.
Right here.
You know my father?
He's a friend of my uncle,
He does know him.
James Fraser. I believe you've met him.
Yes. My father holds him in high regard.
Respect goes both ways. We've met as well, briefly,
See?
when you visited Fraser's Ridge.
I'm sorry. I do not remember.
It's gonna hurt too. Welcome to the pain.
Put your head between your knees and get giddy.
I am not giddy, I assure you.
Okay.
Jesus H. Roosevelt. Tom?
Dude!
We all thought Tom was dead.
Yeah.
I beg your pardon. You should be dead.
So should you.
So should you.
Exactly.
A man named McCreary from Williams Creek brought me news of the incident, so I placed an obituary.
You did.
Yeah, so he's who did it.
Could not abide the thought that you, all of you, should vanish from the earth with no formal marking of the event. I thought I would at least make a record. I shall have no peace while you live, woman.
You kissed me.
Yeah, he did.
You liked it, did you?
It isn't funny.
I've wanted, need, and plenty, but I've never kissed you without kenning who you are. Something poor Tom will never know.
Cover your eyes, Ham.
You didn't know a thing about me when you married me.
I knew some things. You stabbed me more than once.
I have not stabbed you.
I have. You stabbed me in the backside with your nasty wee needles, and a dozen times more with a rattlesnake's
I
fang.
was saving your bloody life.
I didn't say otherwise, did I? I'm not gonna deny. You enjoyed it, though, had you?
Rattlesnake fang.
Okay,
Oh,
no,
now
stop.
they're in the mirror. No!
Oh, they're in the mirror. Cover your eyes, Ham.
Ah,
Okay,
sexiness.
safe now.
Wait.
Rachel, fetch the saw. Wait,
The saw.
can it means it?
Poisonous bile is spreading through thy friend's body. I must remove his arm.
What?
No. No. I will not submit to this.
Then kindly remove thyself from our table.
I'd rather die than have you amputate my arm.
You can't do that. You still need a proper death song, aye?
Dude, I've not read this part. They're gonna amputate
Between
his...
their teeth.
Oh, crap.
Hold him.
Oh,
Cover your eyes, Ham.
He must poison himself.
holy mother. Ah. Oh, they didn't amputate it.
Thanks be to God. You want to have to amputate?
It's called
Not
pus.
today.
Did he just pass out anyway? Was it a turtle?
Can you tell him goodbye for me?
I will. Oh. He wanted to return this to you.
I'd like him to keep it. It was a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Miss Hunter.
Ooh. A
And
pleasure to
that
make
of
your
your brother.
acquaintance.
It was a pleasure for me as well.
Uh-oh. Time to go.
Goodbye then.
Are you ready again?
Goodbye. Goodbye, Rollo.
a place that keeps on calling me.
I was in Ocklevy.
A folktale from the Northern Isles. Kind of a horse-like demon. Who told you about that, Jim? It wasn't Granda, was it?
I met one. When we were outside earlier. He said to take Mandy if I didn't bring him food.
Jemmy.
It's true. I'm sorry I lied before about the Pixie's mama. I broke the alarm clock. I was only trying to see how it worked. But I mean it this time. The Ocklevy is real.
I think he believes it. And can you blame him, Bree? He's travelled through time. He told us that Mandy could travel too, before she could even talk. He knows there's magic in the world.
That's all true. And he has been really good about not telling people what he can do, but those biscuits didn't eat themselves. So unless you think the Ocklevy is real,
He's gonna start fancying her.
I don't know.
That's gonna make
These aren't
like
people I'm aware of.
he's gonna make
Yeah, I see that
someone
wound.
really jealous.
Uh-oh.
You mean rebellion?
I do not. Liberty is a gift from God. Denny said we must endeavour to preserve it. Some saw that as encouraging violence, so Denny was put out of meeting. I think he cannot perhaps understand what that means. But it has not deterred my brother.
This fellowship.
He intends to join the Continental Army as a surgeon. One of the soldiers, Samuel Cartwright, said there was a call for men at Ticonderoga. When we leave, that is where we will go.
Is that a Samuel Cartwright from here in Dismal Town?
Yes, he is a neighbour of ours.
There it is. Ticonderoga.
All right, that was episode 4.
Yes, it was.
An uncomfortable woman, which is obviously Claire.
Yes.
And it took me a minute to remember who said that line in the book when I knew it was Tom Christie. So yes, I some of that I know from the book, and a whole whack of it I don't. So let's see. Basically, we'll go into 1980, which I already know about. But I won't give anything away. So Jemmy and Mandy goofing around, and Jemmy has said that there's a mythical creature that he gave the snacks that we're missing to.
Yes.
And then he confessed that he was lying about the pixies, but he's saying this other one is
This one's
real.
real.
So that will be interesting. We'll go further
where
with
that
that. Bree and Roger figured the bullet out.
Yep.
So they found out it was gold, which was good because their renovations are costing a fortune. And then, of course, Bree got her job.
Yep.
She...
Best dam inspector in the whole town.
Yeah, she's the dam inspector and with a lot of credentials. Yeah, it's interesting because in the book they have a fight about that, which they kind of did in this episode.
Yeah.
But Roger leaves and goes to Oxford for a bit. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen in future episodes, because to me there's a big part in there that's important.
Yeah.
But I think that could still happen. It's just, to me, it was kind of mixed up with the fight. And
Being the breadwinner and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, he goes. I'm pretty sure he's going to go. If he doesn't go, then I'm going to assume that a certain part of the story they're not going to do. So we'll see. I don't think there's anything else in that story that's that stands out. But then there's Jamie and Claire, of course. Tom Christie kisses Claire in the middle of the street. That's a big part in the book. And of course in there. And Claire is, to say the least, shocked out of her mind. He's supposed to be dead. She's supposed to be dead. We find out that he wrote the obituary. And because he thought they were dead, so and he wanted to make sure they were remembered, so he put them in the paper. That's all in the book, which is cool. And he basically tells her, I'm still in love with you. I'll never stop being in love with you.
It's all your fault.
You're very annoying because I'm in love with you.
Because you're alive.
And then Jamie was all like, he kissed you? Okay, that kind of turns me on. Let's get jiggy with it. And that's what happens there.
I had to cover Ham's eyes for a really long time.
Meanwhile, a part of the book I haven't got to is where that jerk face told Jamie, oh, hey, nice to see you again. By the way, I'm recruiting you for the army and you have no choice. Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, jerk. We don't want to do that. I had a theory that Tom was going to say, no, I'll go in your place. Because they said,
too late.
you can send someone in your place. And I thought either Ian was going to say, I'll do it, or Tom was going. But that didn't happen. And
Ian's got other business.
they went to Ticonderoga, is that what it's called? Ticonderoga.
Yeah.
And it's quite the fortress with a group that's already there. And so...
Continental Army.
Yes, that's right. So they're joining the Continental Army. Claire's gone with them because she's going to help Surgeon be helping men. William's story was in this one. Interestingly enough, it's kind of jumped from one thing to the other. So the part I did know was where that poor lady was burned. So some stupid soldier accused this lady of the evening of having the pox and not telling him, and then decided to basically
burn her alive,
punch her across the alley, throw her across the fire thing, and then burn her.
With all of his buddies cheering him on.
They were like, woo!
Fire ship, fire ship. Yeah, nice.
And then William was like, he put his jacket on her at the end. Although, too late, she's dead. Like, I'm not sure if you're burning alive whether you want it to be put out, because then it's even like more pain, I think, with the burns left over. But anyway, William was then sent on a mission to go find 3 dudes and deliver these papers, which I do believe is in the show or in the book. But this whole port wasn't. At least I haven't got to it yet. So his horse gets spooked. He falls on a tree branch. It basically stabs him right through the arm. He's like delirious and crappy. And then he runs into Ian.
Mm-hmm.
I forget why Ian was down there. What was that about?
Ian's got to go and find the Shawnee and convince them to join the Continental Army.
That's right. He thought he could do that, so Ian shows up with finally Rollo, who I've been missing this entire time, and he helps William a little bit.
Rollo must have gone to rehab or something like that. He's been gone for like weeks.
Rollo was just like hanging out in the hotel. I don't know what's happening. So William's not doing well. Ian says, yeah, I know who you are. I know John Gray. I've met you before. There's a little bonding going on. Then Ian helps a little bit. He gets some slivers out. He does the best he can. Then they try to find a house, and they do, which just happens to have a doctor living there.
2 Quakers in it who are like happy to like help.
Yeah, and then they were gonna saw his arm off.
And then all the pus came out. It was gross.
Then it went pop, and it was a Dr. Popper episode of disgusting pus. And then they didn't, his fever broke, and he got better. But meanwhile, Ian and Rachel, his sister, not Ian's sister, the doctor's sister, locked eyes across the butt of the horse. Right. And they were like, electricity.
Yeah, there was a lot of tension there.
And then Ian decides, I gotta go. And Rachel's like, are you sure? Kind of want you to stay. Are you sure? And Rollo's like, hey, Ian, this chick's good. I like her. And then Ian leaves anyway. But he's still got this look like, if I stayed here, I'd be all over you in 2 seconds.
Of course, that leaves the field wide open for, someone else to be interested in this
Then
woman.
William, well, I don't know if William is interested in her, but William
I think he's going to become interested
was
in
getting
her.
shaved
Yeah.
by Rachel, and
Very intimate act.
and then he was all like, because he was growing his red beard a la Jamie, which, you know, he then got shaved off, and they talked about her Quakerism, and then she said, well, Daniel, her brother, had been kicked out of the Quaker life, or
Disfellowship.
the fellowship, because he was in favor of independence.
Yeah.
And William's all like, you mean like treason or whatever it was? I forget.
Well,
You know, like
inciting violence.
rebellion.
Remember, these are 100% pacifists,
Yeah.
so
Is
they
it
will not fight.
Yeah, he's
So,
like,
It
rebellion.
was seen as like inciting violence, which is, of course, a cause for disfellowship. And
Which
out you
Rachel
go.
was like, no, it's not a rebellion. I just think people should be free to make their own choices, blah, blah, blah.
God's
so,
gift.
Yes. So,
It's pretty
anyway,
bad.
Daniel and her have to boot it. They have to go somewhere. They're going to go join the Continental Army,
Yeah.
where Jamie and Claire already are,
Yeah.
to bring Daniel, who also has surgery
They're called
skills.
talents.
I think that Claire might help Daniel learn a little bit
Yep.
more. What's their last name? They said Hunter, right? I'm just like, anyway. So then Ian will show up again with the army eventually,
And
maybe
then
with some Aboriginal
And
people.
then it'll be a third wheel situation where, like, he comes back.
I
and
don't know.
He's fancying this girl, and there'll be a love triangle.
Because there's this whole other thing going on with John Gray's storyline that doesn't mesh up with what we're now seeing. So I'm not sure which part of the book this is, but I'm not there yet. So don't tell me what happens, because I don't know.
No spoilers.
Mm-mm. So, yeah, I knew that these two people were going to be new characters because the actors were in several promos. So I wondered who they'd be because I hadn't got there yet. And I also knew Tom Christie was going to be in this episode because I saw a promo where Katrina was telling the actor who plays Tom, whose name I'm not remembering. She was very upset because it was his very last day on set. They said last day ever, so my guess is we won't be seeing Tom Christie again. But she was sad not to be working with him anymore because he's a pretty genuine dude.
We all love Tom.
Yeah, she likes him. And yeah, they were talking about Tom's love for Claire and how the actor loves Katrina. So there's, they're pretty bonded, the two of them. But I guess all the characters will finally meet up when they go to the Continental Army. Now, here's the problem.
Yeah.
William knows about this meeting, and he needs to get back to his superiors.
His job.
And therefore, he will then possibly face Jamie on the battlefield.
Well, this situation is,
Jamie doesn't like that.
yeah, the problem is that, apparently this friend of the Hunters is also a British agent. So that puts them in trouble.
What, William?
No, they're going to see.
Oh,
she
Samuel,
mentioned
yeah.
he's a British agent.
He's an agent,
So,
yes. He's part of the problem.
He was the one that's supposed to get one of the
letters.
letters.
Yeah.
So,
Or is he? Has he double agented himself?
yeah,
Who knows?
That's certainly possible.
But the whole point, one of the points of Jamie leaving to Scotland was to avoid having
All
to
of
face
this.
William
Yeah.
on the battlefield. That's a big part of it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to face. Will William flip sides eventually?
Mhm.
I don't know. And if he does he become a traitor and lose his titles? I don't know. He is currently Lord Ellesmere. John Grey has a brother named Hal, who was mentioned at the beginning.
Yeah.
Hal is a duke.
Yeah.
And that's why John's name is Lord John Grey, because when you're the son of a duke, you get to be called Lord.
Mhm.
But basically, his cousin was there. William's cousin through Hal was there, and they were talking about him being dispatched too. So there was a little cousin meeting thing. Ian is also his cousin. He doesn't know that, but he is. So there was a lot of cousins of William in that episode. And yeah, Hal was mentioned, and that's why I'm wondering whether we're going to get back to John Gray's storyline, because it does involve Hal, and it'd be interesting to see Hal. Because there's a whole other piece that is missing from this story. Anyway, also what's happening in 1980? Who is this mysterious creature person that Jemmy is seeing and giving cookies to? And why is he frightening Jemmy with stories about eating Mandy? Because that's not very nice. And so, who is this person? There's clearly somebody that's clunking around, because there's got to be a nemesis in 1980 that's going to show up. There's got to be. Yeah, is it someone that goes through the stones? Did someone go through the stones to the 1980s to follow Bree and Roger?
Yeah.
This is the question I have. I don't know yet, because I'm not that part of the book, but that's my theory, that they're being followed as well, because they know stuff. And yeah, and it is true that Jemmy was able to sense that Mandy could go through the stones when she was just like a week old. Yep. And so is he able to see, are Mandy and Jemmy, do they have extra senses because they are the children of two people who can go through the stones? Does that give them some extra power? Plus, Jamie has that weird fortune telling, or is it the kids that can do that? I don't know. He seems to be able to see into the future when it involves the grandchildren, Jemmy especially.
Right. So
perhaps that has something to do with Jemmy and his pseudo-psychic kind of powers that he seems to have. So anyway, theories abound. But they're getting into this rebellion pretty damn fast, and I'm not even there in the book, so we'll have to see what happens. Anyway, please leave your comments, thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you for episode 5 very shortly. Bye!